required quorum, and therefore business will begin.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
That particular order, we have the member for Naivasha, Honorable Kihara. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning. Mr. Speaker, I rise to petition on behalf of my residents, my constituents in 2 wards, Naivasha East and Biashara. And here it goes. I, the undersigned, on behalf of landowners of Naivasha Maraigushu blocks 3, 6, and 1, who are citizens of Kenya, draw the attention of the House to the following. That KETRACO, a government-registered company established to develop a high-voltage electricity infrastructure, including planning, designing, building, and maintaining electricity transmission lines. That KETRACO has been erecting electricity transmission lines across the country, and most of the time, the electricity lines are laid on private land. 3, that a framework exists for compensation of the land and property owners, which is prescribed in KETRACO's resettlement policy framework, depending on the extent to which their parcels of land are affected. That the landowners of Naivasha Maraigushu blocks 6, 3, and 1 in Naivasha East and Biashara wards have been affected by the erection of KETRACO infrastructure on their land, but no compensation has been received by the landowners. That efforts to have the matter discussed with KETRACO management have been futile. That, number 6, the matter is not pending before any court of law or any legal or constitutional body. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, makes any other further orders deemed fit in the circumstances of the petitioners. And your petitioners will ever pray. Signed, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. I see there are a few members who want to speak to it. And actually there are many. I do not know why this is a very popular one. The Leader of Majority? Leader of Majority then.
Chair, I really want to support the member for Naivasha because KETRACO built a line from Kindaruma all the way to Garissa, cutting across many constituencies. And they have paid, including in my constituency. Even when they even don't have documents. Some of them even didn't have a letter of allotment. So it is a mandatory. And I really want, Chair, Speaker, I want you to listen to me. I want you to bring this matter to both the Energy and the Lands Committee. That KETRACO has no choice, it must pay the people of Naivasha. Anywhere they are building those transmission lines, particularly if they passes through your compound and they are putting those big towers. They have no choice, and I support the member that KETRACO must be compelled by the 2 committees to pay the poor people affected in Naivasha.
Okay. Any other member wants to speak to this one? Yes. Honorable Wamunyinyi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I also do rise to support my colleague, Honorable JAYNE of Naivasha, on this particular petition, Mr. Speaker. And I wish to stress that, Mr. Speaker, it's not only, in fact, KETRACO that have been involved in this And where is it? Where is it, Mr. Speaker? My apologies, Mr. Speaker. I was saying that I support the member for Naivasha for this, on this aspect of the petition. And I said it's not only Ketraco that have been involved in usage of land from members of the public in Kenya. And this should be considered also in the future, and they should be compelled to compensate the people that have either lost or have had their pieces for this, on this aspect of the petition. And I said it's not only Ketraco that have been involved in usage of land from members of the public in Kenya. And this should be considered also in the future, and they should be compelled to compensate the people that have either lost or have had their pieces of land used for the purpose of those companies, Mr. Speaker. And in fact, where there is delayed compensation, there should be consideration for interest on those compensations, Mr. Speaker. I do support.
Give 2 more members. We will start with, we'll give Honorable Atandi Anunga. You want to speak to this one or
Yes,
the
yes.
next one?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I support the petition. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm concerned that in the last 2 weeks, we have received more than 10 petitions touching on Ministry of Land and the Committee of Land, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, I'm concerned, Mr. Speaker, because these petitions point to the fact that we are having ineffective government agencies, more so National Lands Commission. And, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to urge the Committee of Lands that perhaps they need to consider inviting that commission to find out if they are really serving Kenyans. Because, Mr. Speaker, we cannot have each and every day petitions touching on a particular agency of government. And I think this is something that we really need to check. 10 petitions, more than 10 petitions within 2 weeks, touching on a particular matter, you know. So my concern is that I think we need to, as Parliament, we need to see whether these agencies are working, whether they are serving Kenyans, or because these petitions will continue, and Parliament may not have time to go through all these petitions effectively in time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Honorable Mutua Barasa of Kimilili. Is that Honorable Mutua Barasa?
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipatia hii nafasi. Pia mimi naunga mkono ile petition ya Mheshimiwa JAYNE KIHARA na kusema kwamba taasisi tofauti za serikali lazima ziheshimu haki za raia. Hata kama wanaleta maendeleo, lakini yale maendeleo lazima pia waheshimu yale maendeleo ambayo raia tayari wameweka kwa kutumia pesa zao, na lazima swala hili la mashamba liangaliwe kwa kina, Bwana Spika. Na nafikiria pia kama bunge, najua kuna petition nyingi ambazo zimewezwa kuwekwa katika kamati tofauti za bunge hapa. Spika, na nafikiria pia kama bunge, najua kuna petition nyingi ambazo zimewezwa kuwekwa katika kamati tofauti za bunge hapa.
What's your point of order, Honorable Junet?
Mr. Speaker, the standing orders are very clear, Mr. Speaker, that if you use one language, you must continue with that language up to the end. All the way. Mr. Speaker, the member here is talking about petition, and he's talking in Kiswahili. Can he tell us what is petition in Kiswahili? Because he chose to speak in Kiswahili. Petition, hapa ni petition. Hapa swala nyeti. Could it be, Mr. Speaker, swala nyeti or something?
Honorable Junet, you're obviously right. You're obviously right, and well, there are always difficulties with these languages that were brought on boat, you know, brought by boats and ship. So, but proceed, Honorable Member for Kimilili,
Asante sana Mheshimiwa
and try
Spika.
as much as possible to use the standing orders properly.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Najua Mheshimiwa Junet Kiswahili haifahamu vizuri. Petition iko katika kamusi ya Kiswahili, Mheshimiwa Spika. Naunga mkono. naunga mkono kwamba ili swala liangaliwe kwa kina. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Promised only 2 members, but I will give an opportunity to the Vice Chair, Energy Committee, because the petition will be taken to them. I really am curious to hear what he has to say. Now, are you speaking as the member for Endebess or as the Vice Chair?
Both, Honorable Speaker.
That will be conflicting, but let me hear you.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, you know I'm the representative of the people of Endebess, but in the committee I'm the Vice Chair. Now, one of the challenges that has recently been with the KETRACO, Honorable Speaker, in terms of compensation, because we've asked them, is that there is no national.
You see, Honorable Pukose, without having to interrupt you.
Yes.
Here, I wanted you to speak as a member for Endebess.
Yes, yes.
When you go back to the committee, now
and
you speak as the Vice Chair.
Yes.
So if you start answering,
now I'll speak as the member for Endebess, Honorable Speaker.
Yes. So
yes.
Speak to. You could easily be having issues yourself.
Honorable Speaker, as the member for Endebess, Honorable Speaker, I want to support the member for Naivasha, Honorable JAYNE KIHARA, on this petition. Honorable Speaker, we know that issues of land and KETRACO, providing the transmission lines for our power for the country, they must be able to compensate, despite the fact that there is no commissioners in the National Land Commission. But taking into consideration that this House yesterday, Honorable Speaker, passed the land index bill that was mediated between the National Assembly and the Senate. Now we are waiting for the President to sign, and that should be able to speed up the issue of compensation for the people of Naivasha. So, Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, I support the petition.
Very well.